If you're brand new to the game, a veteran returning after many years, or even a current player, I have compiled some of the most important things to know in the modern version of the game that you may not know. I'm QP. I've been playing RuneScape for nearly 20 years, killed every monster in the game, achieved over 5 billion XP, and finished the majority of achievements. I know a thing or two, and today I can't wait to share that knowledge with you. The first question you may have as a returning player is, where is everyone? A lot of old popular spots are now ghost towns. It's not because there are no players, they've just moved to other areas. The most popular spot for skilling is in Fort 4 and 3. It's a new personal town you can help repair and build all sorts of different skilling spots there. You'll find the most people here on Worlds 2, 84, and 70. Most of them supplying you with tons of XP boosting buffs. The second location people hang out in large numbers is a place called War's Retreat. This is a new combat hub that allows you to quickly teleport to every boss in the game, as long as you've killed it at least once. I strongly suggest unlocking this hub as soon as possible on your account. I've also put together this quick list of other popular spots and worlds for certain activities in-game. A bonus of War's Retreat is super fast access to a bank. It's not the fastest bank teleport in the game though, we'll cover that later in the pro section. You can drag the War's Retreat teleport icon to your action bar and create a keybind, and then when you press that keybind, it will quickly teleport you to War's Retreat without you needing to actually click the teleport. This brings me to the next important tip. Action bars aren't only for combat. You can fill them with tons of items for skilling such as teleports, burying bones, crushing gems, fletching bolts. The possibilities are huge. This makes skilling much less click intensive, especially compared to something like old school RuneScape. Another critical thing to make skilling easier is presets. You can set these up in the bank interface by grabbing the gear you want for an activity and saving it. If you don't have enough of a stackable item that you want in your preset, it's possible to drag that item you have on top of the stack to increase it. You can also right-click items to remove them or drag other items in to add them. You don't need to make a brand new preset every time. After you load a preset, you can right-click the bank to instantly load the last preset you used. This removes delay caused by opening the bank, increasing your skilling XP per hour. If you're looking for the best skilling presets to use, check out some of my other videos or look into external game guides. The RuneScape wiki is the largest source of information about the game. While it doesn't always have the absolute best methods, it has information about almost everything you could need, and it's usually very good. I even update it myself as I discover new things while making videos. I'll link it in the description. A lot of RuneScape communities also exist in Discords, which have important information as you're getting started in the game. I've compiled a list of many useful Discords for you. I'd like to highlight PVME as your go-to source for anything combat related, and then Achievement Help as your go-to for anything else in the game. Definitely consider joining these communities. A popular question I see come up is, how do I set up my interface? I don't suggest anyone copy the interface I use for regular gameplay, but it is possible if you want. If you click the escape key on your keyboard and then edit layout mode, then you can search for a player you want to copy an interface from. I generally suggest to have all action bars available on your screen at once unless you have a really small screen, because this will let you have all sorts of room available when you need it for dragging on things like skilling, combat, defensive abilities. There's a lot of stuff you'll want, and as you get into the higher end game, having that space there already built in makes it much easier. We'll go into more detail about action bars in the mid-level section. If you want a more basic, old school feel, you can toggle on the legacy interface for a much simpler version. You can also make the map a circle if you kind of like that classic feel. I like it for really casual skilling. There are some other settings I strongly encourage everyone to turn on. In gameplay, then item drops, loot systems, you'll find the settings for area loot. My recommendation is to first toggle on the thing that says multiple items open loot inventory, which allows you to edit the other options. Then check single items open loot inventory and use area loot. Then toggle multiple items open loot inventory back off. Area loot is a super helpful feature in RuneScape 3 that lets you grab everything from the ground at once. So it's great for Slayer or bossing, but you don't want it if you're trying to pick up a specific item and leave the rest on the ground. Using the settings I just went over, it makes it so you only use area loot when you toggle a keybind to open it. You can do that in the control section. Drops will pick up with just a regular click otherwise. To loot from the area loot interface, simply click your keybind to open it. Then click the spacebar. We'll go over more advanced area loot strategies in the pro section. The next thing I suggest is in gameplay, interfaces, and game interaction. In this section, I would turn off travel cutscenes, turn on extra potion info, and turn click through chat boxes on. Clicking through the chat box can be very helpful in multiple situations. The final setting I'll go over here is in inventory. I would turn off drag to drop items. Instead, use shift click to drop items from your inventory. This prevents you unintentionally destroying items in your backpack. I would also go through and decide what containers you want to destroy when using the last dose or bite of an item. Also, make sure to toggle on auto teleporting urns here. I would spend probably an hour or so going through every single setting in the options menu to make sure you have everything you want. It's overwhelming as a new player, but as you level up, you'll quickly find the customizable settings and interfaces are actually amazing and super flexible for your needs compared to many other games. It lets you make the interface you want, and I absolutely love it. Another cool setting that's not actually in settings is your skybox. That's what the sky around your character looks like. You can right-click the world map icon to change it. Selecting midday is a great option because it keeps your screen light. This carries over to areas such as dark caves, so you can see a lot better when you go into those dark environments, opposed to that natural environmental lighting, which can make it very hard to see in the distance. If you want to feel immersed in the game, then just keep the skybox as default. In the minimap area, you'll also see a home teleport icon. You can click this to teleport to any lodestone you've unlocked. It's actually possible to drag these teleports onto your action bar if you want to access them quickly, or you can learn their dedicated keybinds by hovering over them. You can also spend Viswax to make the teleport animation much faster. You'll also notice you can use your scroll wheel to zoom the minimap in and out until you find that perfect adjustment. You can right-click the run icon to rest. This allows you to restore run energy faster, so that you've been on a big run somewhere, just take a moment, restore your run, and keep going. And then you can also right-click the compass to lock certain directions, such as north or south, or you can enter free cam mode to get great content creation shots of the game. One last thing about the minimap. Besides changing your skybox when right-clicking the world map icon, you have the option to quickly hop to another world, and you can turn on high contrast mode. High contrast mode is a great setting that can help you see interactable objects during things like quests that may be hard to notice otherwise. It isn't perfect, it doesn't catch every single interactable object, but it gets most of them, and it can be really helpful when you're having trouble finding something. Moving from the map to the bank, there are a ton of cool features you may not know about. Besides presets, which we already talked about, the bank is full of cool features to save space and organize your loadout. You can click the icon of a cake to turn on placeholders. This makes it so any item taken out has its spot saved, so nothing becomes unorganized when you put it back in. You can also click the filter dropdown at the bottom and filter by placeholders to clear out any that you don't want anymore. This also allows you to filter out holiday items, skilling outfits, and more. These items are all stored by Diango, a storage that can be searched for from your bank. Clearing these out after you're done with them helps with bank space. You can also access your house storage from the bank interface. You can click the three dots in the bottom right and open up the house storage or a Diango storage if you want. You can also view your metal bank here. Looking in the top right, you'll see your inventory. You can toggle between the various tabs to see your gear and your summoning familiar too. Any item you click from the bank will try to go into the tab you're in. You can right-click gear from the bank or in your inventory to wear it without needing to go to the gear tab. The final bank tip I'll share is the tabs at the top. You can right-click these to customize them for a cleaner looking organization. After you close out of the bank, take a closer look at your inventory. You'll see a number of icons at the bottom. The icon of a bond opens your currency pouch. This holds mini-game rewards and gives you a few secret, unlimited, super fast teleports. The first is memory strands. You get these occasionally while training divination. Set these as one of your favorite currencies, then right-click them to teleport to a bank. It's one of the fastest early game banks available, at least until you get War's Retreat. The second is Stardust. This will give you an instant teleport to the Wizard's Tower, which can be helpful for early game quests. You get it by mining a shooting star. There's also a lock icon in the inventory. I don't personally suggest using this, but if you want, it will prevent items from getting dragged around, which can make your clicks in the inventory more precise. I prefer to use keybinds to activate inventory items as needed. The last beginner tip I'm going to cover in this video is about the Grand Exchange. The Grand Exchange is where you can sell or buy items from other players without ever needing to trade them. I strongly recommend using it for most of your purchases. Most people trading player to player are trying to scam you. The easiest way to get to the Grand Exchange at a low level is joining a clan. You can get a Vexillum from your clan, which gives unlimited free teleports to the Grand Exchange. The clan flag in Birth Orb will also give you a fast teleport to the clan camp the first time you want to visit. Once you're at the Grand Exchange, you can sell an item by clicking it from your inventory. You can click in the quantity or the price box to adjust how many of an item you're selling and for how much. To buy an item, click the buy icon in an offer box and search for what you want, or you can click it from your inventory if you happen to have one already. If it's an item you buy frequently, you can star it to add it to your favorites to quickly set up an offer when you open the GE. Once the offer is complete, you can either click it to grab it noted or right-click it to take it unnoted. Alternatively, you can use the Collect All button. If the item doesn't buy, you can click the Edit button next to favorites to adjust the price quickly. If you want to repeat an offer you just made, you can do this from the Sales History section. If you buy a full set of armor, you can unpack it in the Set section, but I generally advise against buying package sets because they're often more expensive. If you have an offer that completes while you're somewhere else, it's possible to collect the items from any bank by right-clicking and selecting the Collect option. You can also talk to any Grand Exchange agents in other areas of the game, and they will provide you a direct teleport to the main Grand Exchange in Varrock. I bet a lot of the pros did not know that one. Murky Matt in the main Grand Exchange will combine partially charged jewelry for you, and Bob Barter will combine potion doses for you. You can do this while they're all noted. If you have any more beginner tips you want to add, feel free to throw them in the comments to help others out. I'm going to jump into the intermediate tips next. These are things that are helpful as you get slightly higher level in the game. First thing first, cash on a mid-game player. At this point, you've probably done some quests, you've finished some area tasks, and guess what? Jagex rewards you for that. Explorer Jack in Lumbridge will give you a nice chunk of cash, and May by the Varrock Lodestone will give you quest dice. Both of these are a great GP injection, and you can come back for more as you complete more quests and more tasks. Power bursts of acceleration are a great way to finish these faster by allowing you to speed from location to location. Another good money tip: selling some items to general stores is actually a better option than the Grand Exchange. For example, spirit shards will always sell to a shop for 25 GP, but they'll often sell for 24 GP on the GE. Similarly, a lot of fletched items sell for more money to general stores than the GE. One of my favorites is rune darts. You can buy them for basically half of their shop sell price on the GE because people just don't know or don't care. That's a nice passive way to make money on the side or a good way to cut down on your own losses while you're skilling. You can also remove buy and sell warnings for shops and settings, but be a little careful with this one. At this point, you're more than acquainted with combat, so I have a few tips that will help you get even better. First off, if you haven't done it yet, make sure to do the World Wakes quest. It unlocks some great combat abilities and it gives amazing XP if you have the levels. It has basically no requirements to start. You'll also want to do the Dig Site, One Piercing Note, and Succession quests. These unlock the Tendril abilities, Sacrifice, and Devotion, and Dive, respectively. All of these abilities are essential for higher tier PVM, and they are free to get. I'd also start unlocking abilities via ability codices as money allows. PVMe will have an upgrade order for you. That's one of those discords I talked about in the beginner section. One cool thing about the ability Sacrifice, besides healing you, is that it hits one tick faster than many other abilities. This can finish off monsters faster and is particularly useful when you need to move to another location quickly or phase something. Tuska's Wrath also works this way. Currently, you can do this with some other abilities using cosmetic overrides, but Jagex will be changing that soon. Another ability trick is something called canceling abilities. Some channeled abilities, such as Asphyxiate, have a channel bar. You can cancel this bar early by manually casting another ability. Timing this carefully to cast another ability will increase your total damage output. Otherwise, you need to wait for that bar to finish, which will decrease your damage. Let's take a moment to discuss armor. If you look at almost any guide, it will always say to use power armor. The reason power armor is advised in RuneScape 3 is because higher damage means less time fighting your enemies, so less time you can take big hits and die. You'll also get better GP per hour, and you'll be ready to join pro PVM teams later on. I'm going to go against the grain here and say it's okay if you don't want to use power armor right away. Tank armor is great for learning, in my opinion, since it gives you that little extra buffer to survive longer in a fight while you learn, and it's usually cheaper. Once you understand the boss, go ahead and swap to power armor and maybe even figure out how to skip some of the mechanics with crazy damage output. But don't feel bad if you're starting out with tank gear. Another useful perk of tank armor is bonfiring. When you use a bonfire, you get a life point boost. This boost can be increased by wearing gear that boosts your life points. So if you put on a shield and you put on your tank armor, you're going to get more life points at a bonfire than if you were just wearing your power armor. When you swap to other armor, that calculated life point boost stays the same. Another important option to turn on at this point is action bar swapping. The game will automatically swap between action bar setups for you when you change from one combat style to another. You can do this in combat settings and then action bar binding. Choose the type of weapon and the bar you want. You can do this for secondary action bars too. As you get more into PVM, you may find yourself wanting to get overloads. Unfortunately, these are locked behind level 96 Herblore, but it's possible to get them earlier if you go to World 84, Fort 4 and 3, and wait for a Pulse Core boost to buff your level. That will allow you to make overloads much sooner. Araxer also starts dropping overloads once you hit level 90 Herblore if you want to farm them on an Iron Man character. Pulse Cores will be going away in a year, so you'll need to use other boosts like Spicy Stews to get overloads early on your account, starting in 2027. While you can't use the request assist system to make overloads, you can use it to make some untradeable items like high-level urns. Urns are a very good option for training as they give up to a 30% XP bonus. If you find yourself unable to afford urns, you can try some high-intensity skill strategies such as alching in between archaeology harvests. Putting the spell on your action bar allows you to cast it on an item between archaeology harvests without interrupting it. There are other items you can put on your action bar while skilling. You can put a soil box on your action bar, an ore box, and a wood box, allowing you to fill them up with resources from your inventory without stopping your cutting, mining, or digging. When you're ready to turn the ore you mine into gear for smithing XP, I suggest making gloves or boots instead of plate bodies. Gloves and boots are more AFK than plate bodies because your heat doesn't run out as fast, so you'll actually get higher XP per hour if you're busy AFKing and better GP if you end up selling them before burial. Once you've made your armor and you're ready to get back to combat, take a moment to unlock and upgrade a puzzle box. The puzzle box is an item which stops adrenaline drain among other boosts, which is super helpful when camping a boss over and over. If you want to use the regenerate ability to regain health after getting the puzzle box, click the heart on your health bar to activate it. Make sure to put on Silverhawk boots while you're training combat if you're not 99 agility yet. Silverhawks will give you passive agility levels while you do more enjoyable content. You'll also want to get a Zuck cape at some point. The fight against Zuck gets considerably easier if you add Talk Hole to a bookcase by the Fight Cauldron. I have a full Zuck guide that you should definitely watch if you're struggling to get a cape. After you defeat Zuck, take a moment to right-click the War's Retreat portal. You can set the location the portal takes you for many bosses, Zuck being one of them. If you happen to have 99 defense by now, pop the cape into your Anachronia cape stand to get revived when you die in game. This even works in places like Dungeoneering. Dungeoneering is actually one of the best places in game to train a number of skills. While you're busy finishing a dungeon, take a moment to chop down trees, catch fish, and harvest your best wisps. You can turn on an effect in the Hall of Memories that makes Dungeoneering wisps give 4 times their base XP. This is an extremely efficient way to train divination if you also need Dungeoneering XP. Just make sure you're alone or your teammates are also joining in. Another good tip at this point, since your levels are higher and you'll be stuck training combat in the same place for a while, make a preset for the monster you're fighting that includes placeholders for the items it drops. This helps keep your inventory organized and it lets you quickly gear up to go back to leveling. It's also important to unlock archaeology relics for combat boosts. If you use the table in the archaeology guild to get to dig sites, know that they have keybinds similar to the lodestone teleport. If you have the money, make sure you're doing research every day to level up quickly. Divination caches are another daily which may be worth doing to unlock invention faster. If you get bored of skilling and PVM and decide to do some clues, you may find some of the higher level clues aren't possible for you to do yet. Don't worry. If you have multiple clues, you can destroy the one you're on and open a different scroll box. It will save your progress through the clue so far, so if you're on clue 3 out of 5 for the reward casket, the next clue will resume from there. Clues can be a great way to catapult your account into the endgame. I actually got a Third Age die from my first clue of the day on the release day of Third Age dies. I sold it for 689 million GP, which hurts my soul now, but at the time it helped me afford endgame gear and it got me to where I am today in the game. And that brings me to the pro tips, things that the veterans of RuneScape may not even know yet. Let's start with the fastest bank teleport in the game. The Grace of the Elves has the ability to teleport you to both of the Max Guild Garden skilling portal spots you have attuned. One of these spots is deep sea fishing. This teleport is right next to a bank, making it the fastest bank teleport in the game. You can speed this teleport up even more by using a teleport animation override. A number of teleport animations have fast teleports that are 1 tick faster than the default teleport. An easy one to get is the retro teleport, which you can unlock as a premier member. There are also a few teleports that slow you down, so be careful which animations you're choosing. I also told you I'd go over some advanced area loot strategies. Area loot only refreshes every few ticks, so there can be drops on the ground that don't show up in your area loot interface right away. If you want to speed it up, you can drop an item and reopen the area loot interface to immediately refresh it. This is used by pro dungeoneers to pick up keys in dungeoneering floors faster than running to them. Speaking of dungeoneering, there are a number of puzzles that have secret tricks to make them faster. The colored lights puzzle has lodestones that you need to activate to time the lights together. If you wait for the moving lights to hit the center and activate a lodestone, it will sync them up perfectly, allowing you to avoid standing on the pressure pads. My next video will be the most in-depth dungeoneering guide ever made, and it will include all sorts of small tips like this, so make sure to watch out for it. When you move in RuneScape, you'll usually have a single tick where you can't do anything. This is a delay where the game figures out everything that's going on. It's possible to avoid this by diving directly to what you want to interact with and clicking it in the same tick. For example, dive to the next rock you want to mine or the next tree you want to chop to increase your XP per hour. It's also possible to do 3 surges in a row by timing the ticks of the surge reset very carefully. You can combo an escape and a surge together with this too. Make sure you've toggled the double surge and escape abilities to have the lowest delay possible on the Anachronia lectern. If you want to check all your animals at player-owned farm quickly, there's one tile inside the farmhouse that allows you to check every single pen without moving. It's also possible to manipulate growth cycles on different animals to grow multiple animals at once. For example, put in a Tavasaurus Rex on its own growth tick, and then once it grows, swap it in with a Bagrata Rex for its growth cycle. I believe the wiki has some info on the growth ticks if you want to try this out. If you use the farmhand Kalia to gather extra unchecked animals, make sure you use 2 different breeds of the same animal. This allows you to get 20 unchecked animals instead of 10. Theoretically, it's possible to have 30, but I haven't managed to do this in my testing. If you're skilling and you want to see how much XP you have but still move your mouse around, there's a way to freeze that skilling pop-up in place. Put your skill tabs in a group with another tab, and then use a keybind to swap windows to freeze it in place and get that drop down. This will allow you to click while keeping it open and seeing your XP go up. You can cook fish faster by clicking a stove again immediately after a fish cooks and pressing spacebar. If you have old gear like Serenic sitting in your bank, you can turn it back into scales by letting a friend kill you in the Clan Wars Dangerous portal. You can also remove dyes from gear if you want by doing this, but you don't get the dye back. Be careful since some items do not turn into their craftable ingredients, so do some research first. If you're trying to get Raids armor, you can buy the tradable version with Tech Eye to increase drop chances. You can't use this to bypass the normal drop pattern of all the gloves, then all the boots, then all the helms, and the legs, and finally the plate bodies. But you can use a strategy to guarantee what piece you'll get after you finish the full armor set. If you drop a plate body before collecting loot, it will guarantee you get another plate body. You can then use the previous Clan Wars tip to convert the extra piece into cash and all of that degradable version that you purchased from the shop. The plate bodies are the best cash conversion, so that's what you want to get. You can put spells on your action bar to cast them manually faster than you'd cast them with a normal auto attack. People use this to do what's called 4-tick auto attacking. You can also use it to get things like vulnerability casts on targets quickly. A more common way to vuln monsters these days is through vuln bombs. It's possible to drag them onto your action bar and set them so they throw straight at your target, or so you place them in a spot you want. This allows you to throw them before the boss even spawns. I like to use them at Raziel, where you can also stand against the energy barrier to prevent his ghost attacks from hitting you. Another high-level combat strategy is called ability stalling. This is basically holding an ability to release it later in quick succession with another ability. This is helpful for dealing a lot of damage all at once or when moving between targets that are far apart. The easiest way to do this is casting an ability while out of attack range on your target, then clicking the ground. When you attack your target later, it will release this ability, allowing you to cast another ability one tick after. If you're using a spell instead of clicking the ground, it will let you release the second ability at the same time as the first one. You can also stall magic and ranged abilities while within attack range by equipping an offhand melee weapon, but this is a little more complicated and not worth it for most people. If you decide to go for a trim comp, getting rocks to build your regular and golden statues is one of the bigger challenges. You can speed the process up by making urns with a preset to get very rapid single XP drops in a bunch of skills. You can also wear the corresponding skill cape to slightly increase your chance, or you can do something more unconventional for golden rocks. Golden rocks are also given from metamorphic geodes. The fastest way to get these is mining coal deposits, almost 3 times faster than everything else in the game. You can use methods like urns and bikes to get the fast golden rocks, and then crack open the geodes to get the slower rocks you still need. It's a nice AFK way to help finish off the achievement. The platypus and milktooth creature pets can be used to block NPCs. You'll see this featured in my Phantoms guide. You can use a blowpipe or dart cosmetic override to speed up some attack speeds similar to the way Tuska's Wrath and Sacrifice work, but this is being removed in the near future. High contrast mode can be used in heists to make it much easier to identify loot and avoid dangers. It can also be used to better spot penguin agents that may be otherwise invisible. It's helpful in other spots like exploring Ark Islands too. And my final tip for this video, there are a bunch of hidden cosmetics and fun items that you can obtain by following various JMod trading sequences related to their updates. My personal favorites are the Chaos Wand and the Witch Doll. If you found this video interesting and you want more tips, let me know and maybe I can do another. Also, make sure to subscribe if you made it all this way. Thank you for watching.